You are watching the POLCAST. Good morning, North America, and welcome to the POLCAST. It is Sunday, November 10th, 2024. And I want to say congratulations to the Trump campaign. Because that was like taking off an 80-pound ruck. And I, for one, am very thankful for the results. So, cheers to the Trump team. And I pray to God that they can accomplish half of what they're setting out to do. So, cheers to you. So, today, I just kind of wanted to do a little recap, kind of where we are and how we should, take a minute to celebrate. But really, that's all we should be taking. This is not a one and done. This is not a movie ending type scenario. This is really the first stage of what will hopefully be a redirecting of the ship America. And to, I don't want to say a lesser extent, but the world too, really. As I mentioned before, and as a lot of you already know, as America goes, so goes the world. I'm going to try to cut these down, make them a little not as not so much of me just kind of venting. Although, like I said before, this is, I do this for me, but I don't want to stall or give like, oh God, man, this guy's fucking boring. So I just kind of want to jump right into it. So with that being said, much like the campaign and the election was a flashpoint. We breached the doorway, and we now have a foothold in the building. We have 71 days before Inauguration Day. And between now and then, we have a whole lot of obstacles, booby traps, lawfare, and evil sons of bitches that will stop at nothing to hold on to their position. Trump is promising major overhaul and reform. I just think he was supported by a lot of Democrats that people would look at them and say, well, they're kind of old school Democrats or true liberals. And that's a good thing. That's a massive coalition, and I'll get into that here in the next slide. So we have a foothold within the building. But as you can see in the building, we got some characters within the building, and we are going to experience lawfare. I'll mention that in the other slides as well. But we have Letitia James, Jamie Raskin, all talking about how either they're going to fight harder or they're not going to certify the election. In addition to that, we already know the knuckleheads that are out there that cause trouble, that like to break stuff. Mostly because they don't have stuff of their own. I'm not materialistic, but if you don't value anything, you don't really care about other people's things either. And we are in a 21st century unconventional warfare scenario. And like I just kind of laid out, and you can see here, you can read on the bottom, there's going to be lawfare. There's going to be a lot of fighting with ones and zeros. This isn't like old school warfare, and I'm not revealing anything that you can't look up for yourself. You know, and this is the short definition of unconventional warfare. It is to coerce, disrupt, and overthrow a standing elected or established government through with and by the means of an underground, an auxiliary, and a guerrilla force. Your underground, your politicians, your people in the media, they pretend they don't know what's going on and like everything's normal. This is how things are supposed to be. Your auxiliary are the money people, the people that have access to vehicles, moving trucks, the campaign signs, mass distribution. You'll see in the next slide kind of what I mean with the protest in New York that just happened post-election because people were upset. But man, they managed to get a bunch of shirts out to people and signs, and it looks real organic. So this isn't a battle. This is a war. And really it starts right now for most Americans because they're finally waking up to what's going on. So the Trump campaign came out victorious, but one of the things I found very interesting is where did all the votes go? I tweeted out on November 8th when the numbers finally came in. Trump got 74,263,826 votes. Apparently that's 39,851 more than he got in 2020. In 2020, Trump had 74 million votes. Biden had 81 million votes in 2020. The most Obama ever got was 69 million. Hey, 69. In 2008. In 2012, I believe he got 65 million. So I'm bouncing around a little bit here, but this election, Harris allegedly got around 66 million. Trump got around 71 million. So that means 15 million Democrats decided to sit this one out. And 3 million Trump supporters, Republicans, MAGA, decided to sit this out. And what the Wizards of Smart are saying is that more people voted during a pandemic, which is probably true. It's just a lot of them weren't alive or they don't live here. More people voted during a pandemic, which was the end of the world pandemic, than in this election 2024. So if you hop back over here to the slide on the left, and you can see that I mentioned, I think that's bullshit. I predicted he'd get about 100 million votes. We'll never know the real numbers. California called it for Harris really before they even started counting votes. So we're never going to know the real count. And part of the reason for that is I think, personally, this is my opinion, that if the real numbers were to come out, it would send, you see the complete and total meltdown by a lot of people on the left. And I don't say liberals or maybe old school Democrats. I mean leftists. Completely freaking out, melting down. If they were to know the real numbers, it would be very hard for the deep state to push a lot of their bullshit on us. And now it's going to be even harder. I'm really grateful that it does seem like a lot of people did wake up and realize that, hey, I get it. We all like entertainment, but that cannot be your focal point of your life right now. You can go back to that when all this shit's said and done. But right now, it is still all hands on deck. And if you think this is over and you can go ahead and relax and, I'm not going to get in the gym. I decided to skip that. Trump, he won. He won without any question. You're kidding yourself. Last thing on this slide. Actually, two things. You see, Kamala Harris, the only states that she won are the states that had no ID required or non-photo ID required. So essentially, you could take your library card or somebody else's library card to go vote. Her campaign raised over $1 billion, but is in debt $20 million. And that, I think, is very telling of what possibly could have happened to the rest of America. So I think that also deserves a round of applause that we avoided somebody that in the beginning was already showing us, where for one, she's been there for 4 years. She ain't showed us shit. But her campaign also is incompetent and unable to handle their own finances. So we know that the machine will strike back. Letitia James has already said so. She's gonna woke even harder, I guess, and come after Trump. Thank God, Trump's attorneys, I can't remember his name offhand, but he already said in an interview, he goes, I will put your fat ass in jail. And I would love to see that. Because she's on Grubhub all the time. She ain't going to be eating that bologna sandwich. They have no choice other than to fight back. They are a cornered rat right now. And that is when that rat or rats is most dangerous. Jamie Ratskin's another one that said that, they will not certify. And you have the talking heads within the media that are, pushing that narrative as well. You've already seen protests in New York, and I found it interesting that they chose those colors to signify their defiance towards the American people's decision to go with Donald Trump versus an unproven individual that doesn't seem to know what ethnic background she is, but then also just is a compulsive liar. So I also have a picture of Doug, would have been the first dude, his daughter. I'm gonna play one video. I was like, man, I don't think I should play any of these videos, but because I don't want to pound it home anymore. Yeah, I get it. A lot of these people and like women coming out, we're not going to have sex and yada, yada, yada. Okay. All right. That's great. If you want to do that, fine. I don't want to make fun of these people anymore. Because what I see from my own personal experience as somebody who struggles with mental health issues, I see a lot of people that are just like their soul's not there. They got those really big eyes, and some of those chicks, it's cute, but there is, for far too long in our country, we have kind of said, no, you're whatever you want. You want to be a furry? You're 10 years old. You can dress up like a donkey in school or a cat. You want to shit in that box? Go ahead. We'll let you. You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Promoting behavior that is not functional towards one's development. This goes all the way into your 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. It never stops. Once you acknowledge to the world that you know better than everybody and you know it all, you're going to experience some ass pain. And I really do feel sorry for a lot of these people, because some of them will never have they'll never have that lighthouse in their life that'll guide them back to some type of, I don't even want to say normalcy, just functionality where they can improve their own situation by themselves, dealing with their own problems versus medication or being codependent on somebody else or social media. I've kind of tee gone a little bit too far down the rabbit's hole because of X's of late. But I'm monitoring it. But I did want to show this video because it's sad, really. And there's so many other people like this in our country currently. So let's take a look. Yeah, there was fraud, no doubt. And you muddy the waters enough, like the last slide I had, the machine will strike back. And they've convinced, everybody is convinced that that the other side cheated. And 71 days away from Inauguration Day, and I can only imagine what they're going to try to pull. The thing we need to do is remain calm, remain vigilant, keep your head on a swivel. My next episode, I'm going to do an episode on what I think, I mentioned it before, planned B, not plan B, on the things that we can do to just better our own situation, things that we can do right now. Even if you're at work, you can do these things. Not all of them, but some of them. And it's like the whole condom thing. Better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. Same with the gun. These are all skills that I think everybody needs. It's a shame, they don't really teach shop classes anymore, or woodwork, or I don't even know if they do home ec anymore. Lastly, yes, people that are on the right, no pun intended, that want a different course or a different path for their country. We won on Tuesday. But for those combat vets out there, and I'm not some war hero or anything, it kind of reminds me of, okay, we went on an operation, we were successful. It's just one phase of this war. It's just one battle, one operation. The fight is not over. Do not allow yourself to get stuck in Plato's cave. Because if you notice the guy holding with the shackles, neither of them are shackled. They're just holding the shackle. And you can replace that for a TV remote, a cell phone, just about anything, drugs, alcohol. We need to stay out of Plato's cave to ensure, as JFK would have said, ensure all Americans have the opportunity to be free and independent. And I will continue to do what I can do to ensure that happens. So my kids can have the same things and experience the same things that I did. Maybe not the bad stuff for sure, but the prosperity, the culture, the loving, the fact that I was an American, that I had, an opportunity like not a lot of people get on this planet. And that's the truth. Not a lot of people have running water either. So I will stop bloviating with that. And I'm going to go ahead and call it there for the evening. But I want to thank you all for tuning in. You can check me out on the X, the Twitters, at LibertyApe76. That's LibertyApe76. Or Pillars of Liberty at protonmail.me. And I look forward to seeing you all the next time. Have a great day, everybody. Long live the Republic.